Hello, YouTube. R. Payne here, marriage, politics, and sports. I like to say I was one of the few guys who didn't think that Cassie was an innocent bystander in all this. And if it wasn't for the beating, I think her testimony wouldn't have been as powerful as it was. And it turns out there was a lot of people on the jury who thought like I did. But we'll be right back because we have a gentleman here who says he was a male escort and he's suing Cassie, and we're going to talk about his story and going to react to what he says right after this. All right, so we're back real quick. Just wanted to throw that in there. Anyway, so this gentleman is going to tell you his story. We're going to leave the comments on the side so we could read a few of them as we go. I didn't look through the whole video. I saw some of it on another person's channel. We're going to start seeing these reaction videos to this gentleman all over the place. And the lady I saw this from, of course, she wanted to believe all women. And so when he comes out, she could barely really get her voice around believing what he's saying. Now, whether you believe him or not, okay, there's a difference between of saying, well, I don't believe him, and saying, what is he saying? Is it believable or not? Right? Is it believable? That's one thing. Do you believe what he's saying? That's another thing. And then if he's believable and you believe what he's saying, well, that's a double whammy. And we're going to ask ourselves some questions as we go as to why he wasn't on asked to testify as a witness in the trial. Obviously, he was looking at it. So without further ado, we're going to let my man talk and we're going to react to it. So don't get mad at me for stopping the clip from time to time.
The man who has just sued Cassie Ventura for damages involved in the Sean Combs sex trafficking trial. And I'm looking through social media and I see a lot of the women out there, particularly black women like myself, who choose to victim shame me and try to do everything they can to discredit me, because the truth is that the loss of the Sean Combs trial was a loss to the Me Too movement and to hating women like the women who are trying to insult me. So let me tell you something, you women out there who would like to insult me. This is my story. I was paid by Cassie Ventura for 8 years to be her male provider. I didn't have to be the best looking guy. I was the best in bed. And because I was the best in bed, guess what? I was given this arrangement. I was coerced. I was drugged. I was manipulated with promises of money and gifts for over a period of
All right,
8 years
so
to continue to be this woman.
let me stop it here. Now, listen, I believe what he's saying is true in terms of being a male escort. But I don't like, he sounds just like Cassie, like he was manipulated, like he didn't do it for, of course you did it for the money, right? So every time you do something for the money, you can't really go back and say I was manipulated and coerced. You wanted the money and you chose to do what you did, just like she did, so it's hard, so you're already off rip, sounding just like the women. Like I'm innocent because I got coerced with money. That's just bullshit, man. You had a choice. You looked at the money and you said, I don't care about my spirit. I don't care about my soul. I'm going to do this because I need the money badly. And that is no real excuse at all. It's not even, you might call it a reason, but it sounds like an excuse. But the truth of the matter is, you could have found a different way. You might not have come out on top of the kind of money, but your soul would have still been intact. So you're not an innocent bystander, but that doesn't absolve Cassie from her role in this. So let's go ahead and keep going.
Woman's provider at her expense and at the expense of Diddy. Now, at the time, legally, I didn't know my rights as well as I do now. I didn't create this contract. She created it with me. She's the one who decided to bring up things that happened over 10 to 15 years ago to hold Sean Combs accountable for what was a partial truth. She's the person who introduced me to the U.S. Attorney's Office. She's the person who told the U.S. Attorney's Office about our relationship. So in essence, those out there who want to hate on me, who want to say that I'm attacking Cassie, you should realize the truth, that Cassie Ventura, your idol, did this to herself. She exposed herself to liability when she got on the stand and decided to mention me as the male escort who was with her when she overdosed and Diddy made her have sex with him. That was a lie, people. Cassie had just woke up from sleeping 8.
Now, remember now, critically and crucially, he said that she introduced him and his name to the district attorney, right? And, she brought him in. Ask yourself why the district attorney, they didn't put him on the stand. Ask them why they didn't put him. Just think about it. Why wouldn't they put him on the stand? I know why they didn't. Because if he says what he's saying here on that stand, that would just completely destroy this innocent, beautiful, bullshit woman's story about how she was just some innocent bystander and Diddy dragged her off the street and made her do all these dastardly things. And she really didn't want to have anything to do with it. Now, the verdict in tow, that tells you that there was enough jurors who didn't believe that bullshit. They just didn't, right? Okay, but let him go ahead and continue because there's a reason why Diddy's defense didn't put him on either.
8 hours. Myself and Sean Combs were exhausted. We wanted to go home. Cassie's the one who forced that sexual encounter. People, she tells you that Sean Combs made her have sex on her menstrual cycle. I can't speak for anyone else but myself. But I know the one time that did happen, that Sean Combs was not responsible for that. That Cassie, in a drunken, intoxicated, hormonally imbalanced state due to her period, manipulated and forced herself on me during her menstrual cycle. And what I mean by that is I had no knowledge she was on her menstrual cycle because the room was completely dark. She manipulated the room. She manipulated the environment to get what she wanted, and then she totally got up like I was the one who should have been grateful. You're on your period. That's disgusting, and I deserved more respect than that. As a man, if I had laid down with a woman and forced myself on her and orgasmed in her and she got up and it was leaking out of her, guess what? I would have raped her. So by statute, by case law definition, Cassandra Ventura sexually assaulted me. I'm not looking to destroy Cassie. I've given Cassie.
All right, so listen, now, is he overstretching it? I mean, I think if it was just straight penetration or stuff, I don't think anybody who's been sexually active at all has not ever encountered a woman who may or may not have known she was on her cycle and there was some bleeding down there. Now, if he went down there and he was like eating it and all the blood was around his face, now I understand. But he didn't really say that, but I don't know if he's trying to be cool because just having a little bit of stuff on your junk is not going to make you go into some kind of hissy fit tizzy. I just don't believe it. You might not have afterwards, you might have said, damn, woman, now I got to wash myself off. But now if you was muff diving and you had it all around your face and all that kind of shit, now you got a point, right? She didn't tell you, and she should be held to the same standards as anybody else.
More than a year to settle this before things got out of control. The problem is she's being supported by women like you who choose to attack male victims instead of accept the truth, which is that a woman could have lied to get revenge on the ex-boyfriend who broke her heart and hurt her. It happens, people. They say hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, and that's true. If you hurt some women, they will do everything in their power. If you hurt some men, they'll do everything in their power to hurt you.
You didn't have to add that part in there about, and there's no equivalency to how women come after men. And we've seen it all over the place, dipping back into 50, 60 years ago. And all of a sudden, he touched my butt and she's trying to destroy a man. And the society letting it do it. Now, the only fault men have is that we keep letting this bullshit happen. We keep voting these liberal women in office. And, they're coming after men as one of their first priorities. So that's pretty much our fault as men, and mainly white people, white men, because they still control shit. And they just let the women run wild. And this might sound wild, but this emotionalism and this being able to no statute because a woman could just say shit after 100 years and and destroy a man is really a bridge too far. There should be statute of limitations on a lot of this shit. Maybe not the most heinous crimes of R and and deletion. But this he said, she said bullshit that could destroy a man, it just has to stop. Because I tell you, if I had to do a percentage, I would imagine at least 40% of the women are lying their ass off, but at least exaggerating what really went down. Because in most part, they were always innocent of actually doing what they're doing. So it has gone way too far, and it needs to stop.
But I want to end this by saying this. Cassie did this to herself. They say he who sets out on the course of revenge should dig two graves. People, Cassie dug the grave that is Clayton Howard herself. Cassie got on the stand trying to destroy Diddy. She should have took her 20, $30 million and walked into the sunset, people. She should have never gotten on the stand and created further liability for herself by telling more of the lie that she created to get this man sent to prison for his life. She made a mistake when she got on the stand, people. She made a mistake when she got on the stand and lied about the events with Clayton Howard. Clayton Howard is a victim of Cassandra Ventura. Clayton Howard didn't ask to be in a relationship with Cassandra Ventura while she was sleeping with numerous men per week. I get it. You all think I was a nasty male prostitute sleeping with women, all different women all the time. It actually didn't work like that. To have certain types of people that can pay you that well, what you really have to do is you have to focus on people who are affluent. And affluent people don't engage in activities like that. So I might have had a client once a month. The truth is I was only a male escort for 2 years. I continued in the profession because Cassie and Diddy continued to pay me very well. And I was an ex-con. I needed money.
Yeah, okay, so there you have it. We can't ignore his motivation for doing this thing and then now trying to claim that he's a victim. All right, you're not a victim, right? But telling your story, your side of the story about Cassie, who let herself be used by the prosecution, because I don't think, unless she was subpoenaed, she didn't have to become a witness for the prosecution. I think she voluntarily did that because she's on this narrative that she's innocent, and she's not. Now, she didn't deserve to get the beating she did, and that beating, which is not part of this trial, was used to manipulate the jury into saying Diddy was a bad guy. You didn't even need to tell it. We all know he's the devil, and he has coerced and he has made people sign a deal with him, and Cassie was another one of them. It sounds like you are too. Now, does that mean you can't go after Cassie? No, it doesn't. But the truth of the matter is, when you make a deal with the devil, the deal never turns out for the person who signed on a dotted line in blood the way they thought. Now, Cassie wanted to be famous. She wanted to have her name in lights. She wanted to have a lot of money. She wanted to be the it girl. And actually, Diddy actually made her the it girl. The thing when you make a deal with the devil, his deal and your deal ain't the same thing. She was thinking about singing, fame, fortune, the bright lights, and basking in the glow of love of all her fans. Well, what Diddy says, yeah, I'm going to make you famous, but not the way you think. And that's exactly what happened. She's famous. We all know her name. Her name is in lights. But you know what? It wasn't the deal she thought she was making, but it's signed in blood nevertheless. And I don't think she's going to get out of all this as unscathed as she thinks she is. And if you're successful with your lawsuit, that's going to be one of the biggest things that's going to just open the floodgates against her. And because I think her husband may have something in store for her too.
Money. Yes, I was trapped in a situation. I'll admit that. I didn't know what to do. But does that mean I should be victim shamed because the same thing that happened to women all the time happened to me as a man? No. For those women out there, for you black women who choose to shame me as a black man for telling my truth, you should be ashamed of yourself. That's probably pretty much all I have to say. You will not see me too much in the media. I don't need the public to believe me. I just need a jury of my peers and 12 people to believe me in the court. And thanks to the testimony of Cassie during the trial of Sean Combs, I have that. Thank you for watching. Stop victim shaming. Thank you.
Hey, man, listen, that's short and sweet. It's kind of funny because, I don't disagree with a lot of stuff. Now, two things I said before. One, is his story believable? And two, do you believe what he's saying? That's the two things that he just has to go to a jury. And it's going to be hard to find a jury, especially if there's any black women on there. Black women are lost society in general in terms of the way they think. They're just ultra liberal, and they're always victims. I mean, black women are the biggest victims in the history of mankind. There's nobody with inferiority complexes more than black women. Not even black men. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if they're not a victim of one thing or the other, then their lives are not complete. The real truth is black women are the most coddled women in the whole entire world, even I believe above white women. Some people don't believe me, but I believe so. I mean, there's nobody more coddled, more reaffirmed and needing attention than black women. There really isn't. I mean, if you really do the research about it, and nobody's louder when they need to be. Nobody stands up for causes that are just as dumb as hell. More than if you want a cause that sounds like liberalism, you find a black woman and give her a bullhorn for you, and she'll speak out. So, and I have daughters. I just hope they're not really on that cutting edge because I'm their father and I've been in their lives. And I think that makes a lot of difference. But there's a lot of black women who have no men in their lives whatsoever. So there you have it. Anyway, so listen, I'm one of those kind of guys who I try to set these kind of things to music. I use AI and things of that nature. So I'm gonna end this here. And I'm gonna give you guys what I think this deal with the devil is, with Cassie and P Diddy, and I'm gonna throw a little tune on it. I don't know whether I'm gonna do the R&B version or I'm gonna spice it up, but I think I'll do the R&B version, which is later on. But you can go to my other channel, Theme Based Music, and I'm gonna make a solo video of the 2 songs that I did of Cassie making a deal with the devil. So stand by. All right, so this one, I'm gonna go ahead and just bear with me. We're gonna get this one cooking right now.
In the dark, where shadows creep, secrets hidden, no time for sleep. A whispered pact beneath the shine, trading dreams for a life of crime. In the night, temptation grows. Beware of the deals made in the dark. What seems so sweet leaves his lasting mark. No fortune gained is worth such a toll. When the devil's grin steals your soul, he'll call you sweetly, but there's a catch. With words like honey, a wicked match. Eyes like fire, intentions unclear. Everything you wanted fades into fear. Walk away, don't look back. Beware of the deals made in the dark. What seems so sweet leaves false promise, break free from the night. In the sun